Hey guys, good evening, welcome to another video. Today's video is not going to be edited, it's going to be uncut. I don't really have time, so I just wanted to talk about where, in my opinion, Ethereum is going to be in the near future. We'll just say 5 years, just for the sake of a title. Lately, I think a lot of people have gotten a little too excited about the DApp use case, the smart contracts. We're seeing still, even on EOS, that these smart contracts are not really ready to be mass implemented yet. They're too buggy. They're too open to attacks, and yeah. But moving into the future, in my humble opinion, I think Ethereum will be the biggest cryptocurrency. Now, in 2017, that almost happened. Ethereum's market cap got very close to taking over Bitcoin, I believe. I think at one point it was only, I think like 10 or 20% away from doing so. However, where will that be in the future? Well, Ether's primary use case is not as a store of value. Bitcoin hasn't seen the adoption as to being a peer-to-peer currency like it was supposed to be, but that store of value proposition still generates a lot of value. Ethereum was never intended to be that. There's no hard supply on the maximum amount of tokens, which Vitalik has actually proposed a sort of hard cap, I think at 120 million or 144 million, sorry. And that could sort of allow for the utility of being a store of value. But for the time being, the main value driver of Ethereum, at least as it was intended, was supposed to be as the network fuel of the Ethereum network. We haven't seen that happen. Speculation, like all cryptocurrencies, is the main driver of price behind Ethereum. However, if we see scalability improve with the implementation of Casper, Plasma, sharding, then you could truly see Ethereum become the biggest cryptocurrency in the world. With Bitcoin sort of struggling to scale, I think that's going to be largely put to rest with the implementation of Lightning Network. But with greater improvements to smart contracts, with more DApps being developed, with easier onboarding, cleaner UIs, I think eventually these DApps are going to have huge use case. There's just a couple of the ones that I can name right now in terms of just billion-dollar industries. You've got blockchain games, you've got credit scoring protocols, identity attestation, and one that a lot of people are excited about is security tokenization. There's a lot of platforms coming out like Polymath right now, which are trying to be like their kind of standalone securities platforms. But I think the most compelling tokenization comes from Ethereum itself, in terms of just network security and robustness. And if you can create a frictionless way of transferring value on those derivatives or equities, you're looking at trillions of dollars, guys. Now, this is of course looking far, far, far into the future. But if you're a value investor in cryptocurrencies, which kind of, I'm not sure if that makes sense from a traditional aspect, but I consider myself a value investor. I invest in Ethereum, NEM, Monero, Bitcoin. Then that's a very compelling use case, but a very compelling reason to invest. So, don't be too gloomy on Ethereum, guys. Don't get driven by all this hype. This week we heard about Tron partnering with Baidu. We heard about Quantum partnering with Amazon. Don't fall for this whole partnership talk, guys. Partnerships are compelling in that it's nice to see blockchain foundations and companies working with legacy companies or the big tech companies. But being a partner isn't difficult. If you watched Crypto Bobby's earlier video, and this is a point I already knew about because I have some friends who work in a lot of the big tech companies. These partnerships are not, they're not a dime a dozen. There's thousands of partners that Microsoft has. There's thousands of ones that Amazon has, and to see a valuation uptake of like 40%, 50%, even like 20% on this stuff is just kind of foolish. But that's just speculation. So don't get too over exuberant on the Trons, the Neos. EOS is a platform I actually have been using quite a bit in terms of actually using the dApps. But in the long run, I'm still an Ethereum bull. Don't doubt Vitalik. Don't doubt ETH. And yeah, guys. I suppose I should answer the actual question that I opened up with. Where will Ethereum be in 5 years? Ethereum in 5 years, I believe, will be a scalable, usable, decentralized world computer, as it was originally intended. I think that the utility and the brainpower working behind Ethereum will eventually catch up to the actual value that's been gifted to it through speculation. And I think that you're going to have a truly decentralized world computer. As I said before, even if it's just a niche adoption, there's tons of industries that even if it's just niche, multi-billion, potentially even $1 trillion protocol. So if you're an investor, maybe consider investing some of those profits into Ethereum, guys. You know, Bitcoin is compelling to itself. I have a decent amount of my portfolio in Bitcoin, as I think everyone should, but don't over diversify into these new protocols, guys. Most of them are going to go to zero. I don't think we're going to have this huge ecosystem of all these protocols out there. I think there's going to be a few big ones. I think Ethereum will be big. I believe, you know, maybe a Chinese protocol, but I think the whole, you know, China only adopts the Chinese stuff is kind of silly in terms of, you know, applying that logic to blockchain. EOS, I think, has a robust community already, but, you know, don't get too over exuberant. Don't over diversify. Be smart, be wise, and stick with what you know is already getting adopted. Anyways, guys, that's all I have to say today. Again, just wanted to do a quick video, just a quick little rant. Not gonna edit this at all. Have a nice night. Stay safe. Cheers.